So, for the most part, I've been trying to film these videos the day I go see the film. And the film that I saw this week, The Lion King, I saw it on Wednesday of this week, and I didn't want to review it straight away because I wanted to think about it and consider how I felt. The original Lion King is my all-time favorite movie. It's one of the only two movies that I've ever seen that I watch and I think that film is just perfect. There's nothing when I watch the original Lion King that I would ever change. And so going into this film, I had higher expectations than I probably had watching a film in a very long time. And look, that probably wasn't fair, I guess, on the movie or on the cast or on any of the creators. But at the same time, watching it was an incredibly disappointing experience, and I'm still disappointed now, and that was a big part of why I wanted to wait to make the film, make this video, because I don't want to disrespect the artisanship that went into this film and the work that the director put in and the work that the actors put in and the cinematographers and the animators, because first and foremost, it is an absolutely incredible film from an animation perspective. Probably one of the most realistically animated films ever, and a lot of the media have been talking about how that affects the film, and it does. It definitely does. I definitely think that the Lion King, the original, is a very fun film and has a lot of heart, and it's very emotional, and you're constantly feeling things because of the music and the characters and the actors and the story, and it does a lot to bring you in as an audience member. And I think that this film was missing that for the most part. I think that the problem with this film is that it went a bit too far into being, I don't know, trying to be photorealistic, and I don't need to see lions singing songs or birds singing songs or anything like that, and that definitely reduced the effectiveness of the film. Obviously, with all of my videos, I've tried to be quite light on the spoilers, but for this one, I probably find it a little bit less prevalent to be light on the spoilers. The reason being, who hasn't seen the 1994 version of The Lion King, and if you haven't fixed that, go watch it right now. Pause the video and go watch it, because it's literally one of the greatest films I've created. So I'm not too concerned about that. And with that being said, there were a number of moments in this film that felt like the best word for it is neutered. For example, Be Prepared felt like it was a shadow of its former self. People have been raving about Circle of Life and the quality of that song in this film. But in comparison to the original, that big moment when, you know, the sun pops out from behind pops out, and you just, that warmth that you feel, you don't feel that in this film. Maybe it's because they're using a realistic sun and it's coming out more realistically, I don't know. But the animation definitely felt like I was watching a film and not experiencing The Lion King, which was my biggest excitement going in, because I was born 2 years after The Lion King, the original, came out in 1994. So I never got to experience The Lion King in theaters, and I really wanted to have my Lion King experience in the theaters, and I didn't get that at all. So I'm going to try to cover off a few points, and I'm probably a bit frazzled in this review because it's actually a really painful review to do, because I really wanted to love this film. Of every film I've seen this year and every film I will see this year, and possibly any film I'll see ever, this is the film that I've looked forward to the most. And it was quite disappointing. I do want to say, before I get into any of the critical aspects of it, just because I didn't like it, your mileage may vary. You might find that you loved how photorealistic it is. You might find that you loved the voice acting. You might find that you loved the animation, whatever the case may be. You might find that you love this film, and that's great, and I'm very happy for you, and I wish that I felt the same way, but I don't. So anyway, I'm going to start with, again, the animation, because that's what everyone's been talking about, and that's why this movie is going to make so much money, aside from the nostalgia, because everybody's seeing this photorealistic creation of something that we all know. So there is that, and that is something that is amazing. this film to watch is incredible if you don't pay attention to what's going on. But even with that being said, I walked out of the movie and I was able to pinpoint specific moments where it felt too real. So there are a few sequences, one very, very early in the film, and one towards the end of the film where the camera, well, obviously not the camera because there wasn't one, but the animation was moving a bit too quickly. And so I think the focus was on trying to make each component in that scene so rich and so vibrant and so coloured that it lost some of that realistic feeling and definitely had that uncanny valley way of being. And I did feel like that ruined both of those parts of the movie and kind of took you out, and also kind of like gave you a bit of a headache because it was moving too fast and there were too many colours and there was just too much going on. So there was that. But again, from an animation perspective, you know, it's hard to fault a movie like this when you've been able to make lions look real. Like from an animation perspective, it looked like I was watching something that David Attenborough should have been like narrating. Like it was perfectly animated. Like it looked like they filmed it. But that was also leads into one of the biggest problems, is that I didn't care about most of it. I don't know, there's something about the 1994 animation of Simba that makes him look so adorable in the original that's not in this one. Same could be said for Zazu and probably Timon, but I'll get to him in a moment because I definitely want to talk about him. And so I feel like having them look real made me think of lions and meerkats and stuff that I've seen in the zoo, and I don't care about those lions or meerkats anywhere near as much as I cared about Timon or Simba or Nala or anyone like that in the original. So it definitely was lacking from that perspective. From a voice acting perspective, yeah, it was interesting. I'm a massive Beyonce fan. Anyone that knows me knows that I will rave on and on and on about Beyonce. But she wasn't great in this film. I think that her and Donald Glover had no chemistry, and he was quite average as well. So I think that that made it hard for them to get to anywhere in the film. The most chemistry she had was with Alfred Woodard, who played Sarabi, who was good, who was actually quite good throughout the entire film. That was fine, but she just didn't seem to have much of a chemistry with the cast. And then also from a musical perspective, Beyonce has, well, out of anyone that's in this film, Beyonce is the most talented from a vocal perspective. I don't care what anyone says about Donald Glover. He is talented, but Beyonce is the most talented person from a vocal perspective in this film. And I think that was to her detriment, because there were moments where, for example, Can You Feel the Love Tonight and Beyonce's song Spirit, which is released for the movie, which go listen to it and watch the music video. They are incredible. The music video is absolutely amazing, and her vocals in that song are fantastic. And I probably preferred watching that format of music video than I did this whole movie. So go watch that, it was brilliant. But with that being said, her vocals in Spirit being played over this scene that didn't seem like it suited it, and same for Can You Feel the Love Tonight, her runs were amazing to listen to on a recorded track, but on a movie where the scenes are meant to have one perspective or one feeling, to have this big song where Beyonce is belting out lyrics and being Beyonce and having her incredible voice means that you're taken out of the moment, and it's incredibly jarring. And I found that a lot throughout the film with Beyonce. People have been talking a lot about the kid voices. I can't remember who voiced Nala, young Nala, but J.D. McCrary voiced young Simba, and I have no idea about any of their work outside of this movie, and I hated it. I hated them in this movie. And hate's a strong word, but I just didn't feel anything for those kid characters, and that was upsetting because I think that you need to build that love for them. That pivotal scene that happens like 40 minutes into the original, where Mufasa is killed in the stampede, is so important for you to care about Simba, for you to care about Mufasa, and I just didn't. And that is partially at fault of the animation and partially at fault of the voice performance. And so that was hard to come to terms with, because that's such a pivotal moment in The Lion King and in film history, and it just was not something that you cared about because of what had come prior in that film. Also too, James L. Jones has a fantastic voice. I mean, anyone who can say that they don't think his voice is iconic is wrong, because it just is. But he's old now, like I think he's in his late 70s, early 80s. So when you're watching or listening to his voice, it's not as powerful as it once was. It's not as booming as it once was. And it's not as commanding as it once was. So at any point in the film, you don't feel like it's kind of just missing something. And that was hard to come to terms with as well, to be completely honest. Beyond that, Chiwetel Ejiofor was incredible. His performance in Be Prepared was problematic because of the writing, not because of his performance. So anything that he did as Scar in this movie was not his fault, I don't think. I think he was put back by the writing a lot more than anything else, and that kind of stopped him from delivering the breakout amazing performance that he could have. But in the moments that he did have, he was amazing. The same could be said for Seth Rogen and Billy Eichner, who were the highlights of this film, without any shadow of a doubt. Something that I've been hearing a lot about this film is that they stole what was good about the original. And that's true. They stole everything that was good about the original and left some of the best stuff in the original, added some not great stuff. As far as like Nala is concerned, there was a lot of stuff that was added from her perspective that was not great. And some stuff from Zazu, which was average. Changed the hyenas a little bit, which was fine, but nothing too amazing. But Seth Rogen and Billy Eichner have incredible chemistry, and were just so good. They like Hakuna Matata wasn't the tour de force that it was in the original film, but it was pretty good. It was the best moment of this film. It was an absolute highlight. Watching that moment with Seth Rogen and Billy Eichner, the differences that they did, the flourishes, the character, the humor, perfect, absolutely perfect. And it was the only part of the film that I thought, whilst it definitely didn't better the original, it met my expectations, and that was the only part of the film that did. The only part. So props to Seth Rogen and Billy Eichner for that. I could probably talk about this movie for hours, and I like talking about movies that I like and that I feel good about, and I don't feel that way about this film. So I could probably talk about this more, and I might. I've talked about it a lot over the past couple of days, and I'll probably keep talking about it as the month and years progress, and as I watch it again, maybe I might watch the original this weekend to get over that. And I might watch the new one again and see if I feel better about it after the expectations have died down and I go into it thinking that I didn't enjoy it. That might work out better. So I will definitely watch this film again because I want to love it, but I don't. And that's sort of where we're at. So thank you for watching. Subscribe, like. This is probably my most passionate video so far because I am still quite heartbroken, which is really unfortunate because I wanted to love it. I know I've said that, but I really did, and I want to hammer that home because I really wanted to love this film and I just did not. But from here, I'll be reviewing a lot of films over the next couple of months. There's a lot coming out. There's a lot in the horror space with Midsommar, It Chapter 2, Doctor Sleep. Like, there's a lot of really cool films coming out that I really want to watch and really want to talk about. So keep an eye out for those, and thank you for watching.